the gut feeling you almost ignored that saved your life. Hey there, curious minds. Welcome aboard. Today, we're not just exploring a topic, we're diving deep into it. Imagine we're descending together through 5 levels of understanding, each one more profound and eye-opening than the last. We're going to talk about that silent voice in your head, that gut feeling, that knot in your stomach that screams, "Don't do it," or "Something's really off here." Today, we're unraveling the mystery of that instinct you were tempted to ignore, and which, in the end, saved you. Because it's so easy to brush it off as luck or a mere coincidence. But what if I told you it's one of the most sophisticated intelligent systems in the universe? Understanding it isn't just a curiosity, it's a survival tool. So get ready, because I promise you by the end of this journey, that weird feeling you sometimes get won't seem strange at all. You'll see it for what it truly is, your oldest and most loyal personal guardian. Let's begin our descent. Level 1, the surface of the known. The first thing we all recognize about instinct is that fight or flight sensation. It's our body's fire alarm. In simple terms, it's a lightning-fast biological reaction that floods your body with adrenaline, preparing you for imminent danger long before your conscious mind even knows what's happening. Another aspect we're all familiar with is social intuition, that almost instantaneous ability to tell if you can trust someone or if a social situation feels strange or dangerous. This affects everything we do, from choosing which dark alley to avoid at night, to sensing that a job offer, even if it looks perfect on paper, just isn't right for us. Here's a universal example. You're walking along and you get that distinct feeling someone is watching you. You turn around and sure enough, there are eyes fixed right on you. That feeling isn't magic and we're about to uncover why. And a third basic fact, often our rational mind tries to silence that voice. The logical mind seeks evidence, data, reasons, while instinct simply knows. This system isn't new. Its origin dates back to our earliest ancestors, to a time when a split-second decision was the difference between living or becoming a predator's dinner. Imagine one of our ancestors on the savannah, a subtle rustle in the bushes. No time to analyze if it's the wind or a lion. Instinct screams, "Run!" And only those who obeyed that command without a second thought survived to pass on their genes. Your genes. So, as you can see, what we commonly understand about instinct is just that, the visible tip of a gigantic iceberg, a legacy of survival. But if this is what we see on the surface, what secret mechanisms drive it underneath? We descend to level 2, the hidden mechanisms. And here's the first major revelation. Your instinct isn't just a vague emotion. It's the result of your subconscious brain processing millions of bits of information per second. Think about it. While your conscious mind focuses on a conversation, your brain, in the background, is analyzing the other person's body language, their micro-expressions, the tone of their voice, dilated pupils, data you don't consciously register, but your brain does. Now, the fascinating thing is that this has a dual application, a double use. First, it identifies opportunities. Your brain is a finely tuned machine for recognizing positive patterns it has learned throughout your entire life. It's that good vibe you get when you meet someone who clicks and becomes your best friend, or the sudden inspiration for a project that turns out to be a massive success. It's your subconscious recognizing a pattern of opportunity. But the other side of that dual application is risk detection. Those are the famous red flags, the warning signs. Your instinct is an expert at detecting when something doesn't fit the pattern of normal and safe. A prime example is when someone smiles at you, but you feel a sudden chill. Your conscious brain sees a smile, but your subconscious has detected a micro-expression of contempt that lasted a tenth of a second. And it warns you. This entire process is governed by a fundamental principle of our brain, the fast and slow pathways of thought. Instinct is the fast pathway. Imagine that sensory information arrives at a central station in your brain. One path, the fast one, goes directly to the fear and emotion center, the amygdala, for an immediate reaction. The other, the slow one, goes to the prefrontal cortex, the logical part, for detailed analysis. Instinct is the first report to come through. This happens every day. You're about to cross the street, and you jump back an instant before even realizing a car has run the red light. Your instinct reacted. Your logic processed it afterward. The internal structure of this system is like a detective compiling a massive file of all your past experiences, every face, every situation, every mistake, and every success. And this connects us directly to a cognitive bias, a kind of glitch in our thinking system. It's like confirmation bias, but in reverse. This factory flaw makes it so that when our instinct gives us a warning, our logical mind, instead of listening, actively searches for evidence to prove the instinct is wrong, that we're just overreacting. A mental strategy to counteract this is the 2-minute rule. When you feel a strong gut instinct, give yourself 2 minutes. Not to argue with it, but to ask, if this feeling were data, what information would it be giving me? What you should proactively do is treat that feeling not as an order, but as the opinion of your most expert security advisor. You don't have to obey it blindly, but it would be foolish not to listen carefully. There's a very ancient custom that has shaped this, the oral tradition of storytelling. For millennia, we learned about the dangers of the world, not through direct experience, but through the warning stories of our elders. Don't go near the river at night. Beware of the stranger with an easy smile. The practical takeaway for today is that your instinct isn't just fed by your own experiences, but by all the patterns of danger and safety you've absorbed from stories, movies, and conversations throughout your life. And if we have to extract a key real-world takeaway from all of this, the most important guiding principle is this. Your first feeling about a situation is pure, unprocessed information. It's raw data. The golden rule here is never dismiss that first feeling. File it away. Keep it in mind while your logical mind gathers more data. In real life, when you meet someone new or walk into a room, simply make a mental note of your first impression, that initial gut feeling. Then you can proceed with logic, but always keep that initial data point as an important variable in the equation. Understanding this is incredibly powerful. You stop seeing your instinct as an irrational enemy to your logic, and you start seeing it as its most valuable collaborator. They work as a team. But if you thought we had it all figured out, get ready, because this is where things get really chaotic. We descend to level 3, the chaos of reality. And here we run into the first major controversy. Is instinct a reliable guide, or is it simply anxiety and prejudice in disguise? On one hand, there are those who argue it's an ancient wisdom we should always follow. On the other, those who claim that in our modern world, relying on gut feelings is a recipe for disaster, mistakes, and discrimination. What's fundamentally at stake here is a tension between safety and justice. If I trust my instinct that someone looks dangerous based on their appearance, am I being prudent or prejudiced? It's an ethical minefield. And this forces us to challenge a popular belief, the idea that your heart is never wrong, or that the first impression is always the correct one. The reality is far more complex. The big myth we need to debunk is that instinct is a source of objective truth. It's not. It's a source of hypotheses based on your personal experience. And your experience, like everyone's, is limited and full of biases. People love to believe in this myth because it gives us a sense of certainty in an uncertain world. It's much more comfortable to think we have a magical internal compass than to accept that we're navigating with imperfect tools. And here lies the great paradox of instinct. The very mechanism that evolved to protect you from a predator on the savannah can lead you to distrust a neighbor simply because they are different from you. This leaves us with a philosophical dilemma with no easy solution. How do we use this survival tool without it becoming a weapon of exclusion? Where do we draw the line between protective intuition and harmful prejudice? Adopting a critical point of view, we must admit that instinct is, in essence, a lazy system. It seeks shortcuts. It categorizes people and situations into safe or dangerous to save mental energy. And this leads us to an ethical objection few people raise. Most justice systems are based on logic and evidence, precisely because we accept that the instinct of a judge or a jury can be terribly wrong and swayed by prejudices. Another fascinating controversy is whether we can train or improve our intuition, or is it something you're born with and can't change? Over time, this debate has shifted. In ancient times, people spoke of a sixth sense or gifts. Today, neuroscience talks about pattern recognition training, suggesting that, much like an expert firefighter senses when a building is about to collapse, we can all improve our intuition in specific areas through experience. All of this connects the topic directly to the human condition. We are beings caught halfway between instinctive animals and rational beings, living in constant tension between these two parts of ourselves. The fundamental problem this creates for us as a species is that we've built an incredibly complex, globalized, and diverse world, but we're still running on a mental operating system designed for a tribe of hunter-gatherers. It's an inexhaustible source of conflict. So as you see, instinct isn't a simple, pure superpower. It's a chaotic, powerful, dangerous, and brilliant tool all at the same time. It's a reflection of our own contradictions. You've survived the chaos. Now it's time to dive into the details that separate the curious from the truly insightful. Level 4, expert knowledge. The first concept you won't find in a quick search is interoception. It is, literally, your capacity to feel what's happening inside your body. This detail is crucial. Neuroscience research, such as that published in Nature Neuroscience, has shown that people with high interoception, meaning they're more connected to the signals from their heart, lungs, or stomach, have significantly more accurate intuition. The best analogy is this. Imagine your body as a control panel full of lights and gauges. Interoception is your ability to read that panel. A gut feeling is, literally, your brain noticing that the heart rate monitor has spiked without an external logical reason. And here we have to talk about a key but often unsung figure in this field, the neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux. His contribution was discovering the two brain pathways we talked about earlier, the fast and the slow. He was the unsung hero who gave us the map to understand how an emotion, like fear, can be generated before conscious thought even catches on. It changed the game. There is an alternative, slightly rebellious theory called the somatic marker hypothesis, proposed by Antonio Damasio. He suggests that our decisions aren't purely logical or emotional, but that instinct creates markers in the body, like a knot in the stomach, that guide us toward more advantageous choices. This perspective changes everything. It's not that emotion clouds judgment. It's that emotion expressed through the body is part of the judgment mechanism itself. Without those gut feelings, we would be terrible at making decisions. And here's a counterintuitive detail from the research. Studies show that in complex tasks with many variables, like predicting the stock market, people who rely on their educated intuition often outperform those who try to logically analyze every minute detail. This clashes with our intuition because we've been taught that important decisions should be slow, deliberate, and purely rational. The idea that feeling the right answer can be more effective in certain scenarios feels almost like heresy. And the last niche detail that connects everything is the role of neuropeptides. These are molecules that travel throughout your body, allowing your stomach to literally talk to your brain, the famous gut-brain axis. And this is the aha moment. When you feel something in your gut, it's not a metaphor. It's a real biochemical conversation. Your second brain, the enteric nervous system in your gut, is sending signals that your main brain interprets as intuition. Reaching this level of detail gives us a much more authentic understanding. Instinct ceases to be a ghost in the machine and becomes a tangible, fascinating communication network that runs throughout our entire being. From here, we enter uncharted territory. Do you dare to look towards the final frontier? Level 5, the final frontier, speculation and wonder. The first futuristic idea is, what if we could train and enhance our interoception with technology? Imagine neurofeedback devices that teach you to listen to your body's signals with a clarity that today seems like science fiction. In 100 years, perhaps instinct won't be something we simply have, but a skill we actively calibrate and fine-tune. We could evolve from having a basic alarm system to a high-precision predictive diagnostic system for our health, relationships, and decisions. And this is where science butts up against its limits. The fundamental question is, where do the patterns our brain recognizes actually come from? Only from our experience, or are we accessing something more, a form of information we don't yet understand? When science stops, philosophy takes over. Philosophers like Carl Jung spoke of the collective unconscious, the idea that we inherit not just genes, but also patterns of experience and archetypes from all of humanity. The philosophical implication is dizzying. If your instinct can warn you of a danger you've never directly experienced, does it mean you're connected to a network of human knowledge that transcends your own life? What does that say about individuality? This connects instinct with the very future of humanity. In a world saturated with information and disinformation, the ability to discern truth from noise becomes critical. Mastering the ability to listen to our calibrated and educated instinct, separating it from prejudice, could be the key to solving complex problems, from choosing leaders of integrity to innovating in ways that pure logic simply cannot conceive. And here's the final idea, the most provocative claim: perhaps instinct is simply the word we use to describe a level of neural computation so vast and complex that our conscious mind can only perceive its output as a feeling. Think about that for a second. It's not magic. It's mathematics. Mathematics so advanced it feels like poetry, and you are the poet. Our descent has ended. We've traveled from the surface to the most speculative depths of the mind. Now take a moment to take in the complete picture. The entire landscape has changed dramatically, hasn't it? Remember that at the beginning of this video, we talked about that simple, familiar idea. Instinct as a shiver, as that feeling that something's just not right. Prepare for the final contrast because this journey has been long and deep. Compare that simple initial idea with the one we have now. A massive biochemical data processing system that connects your brain to your gut, that feeds on the experience of your ancestors, and that operates at a speed that defies your logical thought. We've transformed a superstition into a supercomputer. We've converted a strange feeling into your most intimate and powerful advisor. That is the incredible transformation of understanding we've journeyed through together. What idea from this entire journey impacted you the most? Is there anything that made you see your own experiences in a completely new light? I want to sincerely thank you for your time, your curiosity, and for joining me on this deep dive. Please share your thoughts and your own stories about instinct in the comments below. The collective knowledge we can create down there is fascinating. If you enjoyed this journey into the depths of the mind, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and share this video with someone you think needs to start trusting their inner voice a little more. As always, keep questioning, keep exploring, and never stop wondering. Until next time, the next time you feel that shiver, will you listen